What's up guys, this is Paul from Vanguard Hero, and we're here today with a deck profile for Dark Irregulars. Well, my build anyway. First we're going to go over the grade 3s. As you can see, this is a very diverse grade 3 lineup, not like the Amon series at all. Well, in set 12 there was a lot of support for Dark Irregulars, House of Amon especially, but my deck profile is more rearguard centralized versus the Amon series, which is a lot more Vanguard centralized. And yeah, let's get into it. The most important grade 3 in this deck is the Breakride, King of Mass Dantarian, and his effect is when you ride over him, the Vanguard gets plus 10k, and choose up to 3 rearguards that you have, and they get plus 1k per soul you have. And this deck soul charges a lot, so you're going to be getting a lot of big numbers from this. That's not the only source of big numbers. We'll get back to that when we get to our grade 1s, because Doreen's a beast, and the Breakride's most important, but what would you want to ride over him? We have 3 options here in this deck. First one, that is my personal favorite, is Reijy. Basically, when you have 15 in your soul, you get plus 2 critical, as you can see in the description of the card. And a secondary effect, which is also pretty nice. When you place this on the Vanguard circle, you can soul charge up to 3 copies of a card on the field that you so choose. And this could, I don't know, boost. Actually, it can't boost for Doreen because that's a main phase effect, and this is a right phase effect. But it's still very useful if you have Dimensional Creeper on the field if you were to draw him, and it could probably save you. And the second option is Dark Lord of Abyss. Dark Lord of Abyss is a very solid card to ride over Dantarian because of his ability, which is Counterblast 2, and Soul Charge 2, which is a main phase effect. This unit gets plus 1k per Dark Irregular in your soul until the end of the turn, which is basically what Dantarian does for his rearguards when you ride over him. And you can do this twice a turn, because it's Counterblast 2 and it's an activation effect. So yeah, that's pretty solid. Getting 2k per soul in that turn for a final push is very, very deadly. And last but not least, well, in my opinion, probably the least, but it's still a very solid card. Master of Fifth Element, MoFE, as we like to call him. I just like saying the name. Limit Break 4. During your turn, if the Dark Irregulars you have in your soul is 10 or more, every Dark Irregular gets plus 3k. And Counterblast 1, if this hits a Vanguard, you can soul charge 3. And yeah, this is basically an Emblem Master, but you can base out 3k on each of your rearguards, which is a plus 6k per column, and plus 3k for a Vanguard column, which is not that bad. Honestly, I'd much prefer Dark Lord of Abyss or Alluring Reijy, because this deck does have a lot of rearguard support in terms of Doreen and Mask of Dantarian already. So I'd like to ride Alluring Reijy or Dark Lord of Abyss over it, because basically the Vanguard needs a good effect basically to end the game off with, and the rearguards basically already have, well, more than enough power to finish off your opponent if you pull off a combo correctly. For the grade 2 lineup, we have 4 Emblem Master, which is very important for soul charging early on, and 3 Free Traveler, which is a very good combo card with a grade 1 card called Dimensional Creeper. Oh, I should probably explain the effects of Emblem Master first. Emblem Master is a Counterblast 1. If this hits a Vanguard, you get the Soul Charge 3. And that Soul Charge 3 is a very big boost, because it's a plus 3k for a Breakride per rearguard, plus 9k total. And Free Traveler, Counterblast 1, you can Soul Charge any card that you want that's grade 2 or less from your deck, and then shuffle your deck afterwards. And my pick for other grade 3s is House of Amon Cycle Glaive. Cycle Glaive is a Counterblast 1. When this gets called to the Vanguard or rearguard circle, you can Soul Charge 1 and gain 5k until the end of the turn, which is pretty good, considering you need to Soul Charge during the main phase. But another option is Flirtacious Succubus, which is when this is called to the rearguard circle or Vanguard circle, you get to Soul Charge 1 without a cost, which is also very, very nice. It's up for debate which of these two is better in this build, but I've been testing back and forth, and I don't know. I just think Cycle Glaive is better because of that inherent plus 5k per counterblast. Because it's not a very counterblast heavy deck aside from the Free Travelers and Dark Lord of Abyss. Oh, and Emblem Master, but you're probably not going to get off Free Traveler more than once or twice a duel. I mean Cardfight. Excuse me. And Dark Lord of Abyss. Dark Lord of Abyss, you basically only need to do it once, but if you're really calling final turn, you can do it twice. But anyway, this is Counterblast 1. If you don't want to run very counterblast heavy cards, you can run Flirtacious Succubus. For me, I chose this because I usually have free counterblast ready when this card is called. Pretty much a 5 plus 5k for soul charging 1 and counterblast 1, which is alright for me. And here are the grade 1s. Probably the most important lineup in this deck, like just as important as the grade 3 lineup. First we have Alluring Succubus, basically the same thing as Flirtacious Succubus. When this card is placed on the Vanguard or Rearguard circle, you can soul charge 1. And yeah, that's a no cost effect, on call effect, which is very good. Next we have the 4 perfect guards, very self-explanatory why you run them defensively. And these two cards right next to each other, Doreen and Dimensional Creeper, these are very good cards that combo up with each other. If you put this card from your soul to the drop zone, you can soul charge 2 more. And that's very good with this card right here, Doreen the Thruster. Doreen the Thruster is my favorite card in this deck, probably in the entire game. During your main phase, when you soul charge a card, you get plus 3k. This effect stacks a lot. If you counter up with Dimensional Creeper, if you do it 4 times, like what I usually do in endgame, that's 8 soul charges. That is a 24k boost per Doreen on the field. And that is insane. And yeah, that's based off 4 cards in your soul. All you need to do is get these 4 cards in your soul, and you get plus 24k per Doreen. You can have more than 1 Doreen on the field, because it's not limited. Vanguard rules, you know, a lot of cards aren't limited. And to get those Dimensional Creepers in your soul, you basically run cards like Free Traveler, and you just soul charge a lot and hope you don't draw into them. Which is basically what Dark Irregulars is. It's pretty luck-based, but you can up the consistency by running Free Traveler to get those Dimensional Creepers in the soul. Dimensional Creeper, however, has only a 8k body, so it'd be best to call him and use his effect early on, mid-game, and use him as intercept to open up for more powerful rear guards such as Glaive and Emblem Master, or other notable cards that I'll go over at the end of this video. And here we have the trigger lineup. I run the Rainbow, actually, in this deck. 4 heal, self-explanatory. Hysteric, Shirley, very good card. Oh, Doreen's effect isn't when it's soul charged, it's whenever a card is placed in soul, so Hysteric Shirley is an inherent plus 2 to count to Doreen's effect, and this is, when this moves into the soul, if you have a Dark Irregular Vanguard, you can soul charge 1. So she's going to soul, 1 card on top's going to the soul, everything's going to soul. Basically, it's a plus 6k for Doreen. Every draw trigger you have. Dark Knight of Nightmareland, critical trigger, very obvious why you would run this. Well, to put an offensive edge on your deck. And its effect is choose up to 1 Dark Irregular, and that gets 3k when you put this in your soul. Which is basically another counter for Doreen's effect. And yes, Doreen's effect is very, very good in this deck. And the last trigger, which is a stand trigger, surprisingly, is Dark Queen of Nightmareland. And its effect is, when an attack hits that this unit boosted, you may soul charge 1, and if you do, shuffle this back in your deck. The reason why I would run this stand trigger in this deck is because your front row rear guards are going to be huge and buff when you Breakride over with Dantarian, or you can move a Doreen up, because she's as good as an attacker as she is a booster, basically. But when you Breakride or move Doreen up front, the power to restand them is very, very, very good. It wastes hand like crazy. And if Doreen's coming in with 40k, potentially, and you restand that, that is devastating to your opponent. And the starter, which is, these 2 are the main options, Greedy Hand and Devil in Shadow. I prefer Devil in Shadow, because getting the Breakride off in this deck is very crucial. Dantarian is a very crucial card to this deck, and to search for it is very, very good, better than Greedy Hand's effect, which I'll get back to in a second. And its effect is to counterblast 1, look, and put this in your soul, and look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and search for a grade 3. This is basically a generic grade 3 searcher. Basically search for a Breakride, ride the Breakride before you ride any other grade 3, and then just soul charge like crazy with Doreen. And then the other starter, Greedy Hand, which a lot of people prefer to run, and it's not that bad of an effect either, which is counterblast 1 and put this unit into your soul. Search your deck for a grade 2 or less Dark Irregular, aka Dimensional Creeper, because why not? You get to soul charge that. This is a plus 2 for Doreen, but the consistency that Devil in Shadow provides is a lot better in my opinion than soul charging an extra Dimensional Creeper, because you already have Free Traveler with that effect. That's why I run Devil in Shadow versus Greedy Hand. And some notable cards that I wanted to run, Knowledge Drunkard, because the effect is send 1 card from your hand to soul, and when this unit attacks a Vanguard, if you have a Dark Irregular Vanguard, you may pay the cost, and if you do, draw 1 card. Which is basically a recycling tactic if a Dimensional Creeper is in your hand that you don't want. Basically, you can like hope to hit with this, and then just soul charge that, and just basically draw a free card. This deck doesn't really generate a lot of hand power for itself, so this is a very viable option as well. And then another good card, in my opinion, is Fatigue Succubus. The effect is, if the number of your Dark Raiders is 10 or more, this unit gets plus 4,000. So this is a 12k attacker, but this is a continuous effect, so it lasts for both your turns and your opponent's turn. So it is a 12k body every turn. So if your opponent tries to attack it with a rearguard, basically they're going to have a tough time doing it. And one more notable card is Dark Soul Conductor. Dark Soul Conductor is a very good card, if you're defending anyway. And its effect is, when this unit is put into the drop zone from your Guardian Circle, basically when you guard with it, intercept with it, whatever. If you have a Dark Regular Vanguard, you may soul charge too. That is a +2 soul charge for Dantarian. A very simple effect, very good effect. And yeah, that's basically this deck profile for now. We're going to have a replay coming at you after this video, so stay tuned for that. Peace.